So let's carry on from last time. And I think we were getting close to looking at arrays. Before I jump into arrays, is there anything that you want me to talk about? Yeah.
Can you go over quiz questions for loops?
Quiz questions for loops. That's today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which question did you want me to focus on?
Can you just go over number 2? I just wanted to...
Number 2?
Yeah.
The one that has 410 as the answer?
Yeah.
So what does this code print? So we want to know the output of this piece of code. There's one variable I, so that's what we need to keep track of. What does I equal? Well, if you look in line 1, we start by initializing I to 3. And then in lines 2 through 5, we have one statement. And when that statement finishes, we're done the code. But this statement is a loop. And so we have substatements. Lines 2 and 4 are the substatements. The loop condition is that I is less than 27. So we evaluate the loop condition and then do the substatements and repeat. Loop condition, substatements, yeah.
Is this saying that 3 to the 26th power, or is it saying that?
Is it saying what?
Like 3 to the 26th power?
3 to the 26th power?
Yeah.
In the code? No, this is, I don't see where you're getting that. You mean there's no power operation in the code. Are you talking about the answer?
Yeah.
So how would you derive that answer? That is 3 to some power, 26 power. How would you derive that? It looks like you're skipping details. You're like fuzzy looking at the forest without looking at the trees. Most people criticize you for not looking at the forest. You're just looking at the trees, You're supposed to look at the forest. Well, it's the other way around here. You're all used to looking at the forest, and you want to get an answer just by looking at it from a big picture, right? But you got to look at the trees. You got to look at the details. You got to look at line 3. And what does it do? And line 3, has got 2 operations. And which operation goes first? See, you got to dig in. You got to zero in. That's how you get the answer to these problems. You also want to keep in mind, the big picture, of course. And I thought I started with the big picture by talking about the statements. There's 2 statements. There's the first statement in line 1, and then there's the second statement in lines 2 to 5. You have 2 statements to complete. That's it. Okay, so that's a big picture right there. And then we sort of, this is an easy statement to evaluate. That's just creating an I and setting it to 3. So we're done with that. That's easy, isn't it? So we can chop off that part of the forest and just decide to look at this part of the forest. Do you see what I'm doing? This is how you do it. You were like, you said, is it 3 to the 26th? You're like skipping too far there, you see, without looking at the details and analyzing the mechanics of each individual step. You cannot memorize an answer to this problem. You have to follow the process of analysis. There's no formula that gives you the answer to this problem. It's a procedure of reading the code, analyzing it, understanding it. All right, so the loop, the two substatements will repeat every time the loop condition evaluates to true. So we do the loop condition, substatements, loop condition, substatements, loop condition, until loop condition is false. When the loop condition is false, it means the entire statement, compound statement, is done. Now, it just so happens that one of the substatements produces output, that one right there. Okay? So let's go and look at this loop condition. So we're going to start executing the loop. The first thing we do is evaluate the loop condition. The loop condition is true because I is 3. 3 is less than 27. So now we have two operations. We have this output operation and we have an addition operation. Which one do we do first? Addition. Okay. See, we're just like robots carrying this out, aren't we? You can't always just do it like this line by line. Sometimes you need to step back and generalize. So I is 3. We're going to add 1 to 3. That gives us 4. Does that change I? No, we're not changing I. We're reading I, we're adding it to 1 inside of an expression, but we're not modifying I here, are we? We're just using it. So 4, this expression I have highlighted evaluates to 4. It's the right-hand side of an output operation. And so we're going to print 4. So I make a little note down here. Our first thing we're going to output is 4. So the problem is, what does this code print? And now we go to the next statement, and this has two operations. It's got assignment and it's got multiplication. So the multiplication has higher precedence. It goes first. So I is 3. It was not modified in line 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then 9 is the right-hand side of this assignment. And now I is going to be modified. Now I's state, its value, is going to be set at 9. So I becomes 9. Do we print 9? No, we're not printing 9. We're just changing I. Okay, so we can separate, and I'm using two different lines, 7 and 9 here, to keep track of those two different realities. All right, so we finished line 4, and now what do we do next? What do you think? Huh? The what? We are in the loop. We're inside the loop. What do we do next in the loop?
Keep on going until.
Huh?
Keep on going until it's 27.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Keep on going until it's 27.
Yeah, what do we do next? If we want to keep going, what do we do next? Do we multiply something together? I mean, what do we do? Huh? You don't know what to do next? Really? Huh?
Up there?
You got to practice using the words. You know, like I'm repeating words over and over again. But you guys maybe need to like talk to yourself at home when you're studying and use the vocabulary that I'm giving to you.
On the terminal or up in the dash?
Huh? Sorry, you know, my hearing's not good.
On the terminal or up in the workspace?
No, I'm saying we just did line 4.
Yeah.
Okay, then what line do we do next? You don't know.
No.
So you're totally lost.
Yeah.
I go in as slow as I think I can go here. So I don't know how else to explain what to do next. Anybody else want to suggest what we do next?
Check the condition.
Check the loop condition. Exactly. Remember, I said that. First, we check the loop condition. If it's true, we do the substatements. And then repeat. Well, how do you repeat? Well, you check the loop condition, do the substatements. And then repeat. Check the loop. As soon as the loop condition is false, then we exit. So practice that thinking, practice it in your mind and say it to yourself as something, you've got to nail it in there, okay? You got to sort of make some kind of effort to digest this, mental process, all right? All right, so is the loop condition true or false? Well, I is 9, right? The loop condition is that I is less than 27. So true or false? True. So if the loop condition is true, we do what? The what? You can't remember the terminology. Substatements. I said substatements today about 20 times. And I say it in 20 times because I'm trying to nail it in. So you've got to practice it, okay? That's why I asked you the question. Practice those words. Grasp, what is a substatement? You have to grasp that. Notice the indentation here. See, I didn't write it like this. Because those two lines are inside of the loop. Their execution is determined by the loop that they're inside of. So we show that relationship by indentation. And that we also call that relationship substatements. These are substatements within a larger while statement. I'm going to highlight the larger while statement. That's the larger while statement. That's one thing. You can think of it. That's one thing. It's like one tree, and that this is the trunk of the tree, and that's a branch, and this is another branch. You get something. You know what I mean? So you can zoom out and zoom in, but learn the vocabulary and the terminology that's used to describe the parts and the procedures. All right. So the expression, the loop condition is true. So we do the substatements. The first substatement has us take the I, which is now 9, and add 1 to it to give a 10. It does not modify I, once again, but it becomes the right-hand side of an output operation. So we're going to print 10. And then we'll do the next substatement, which is this one. We're going to assign to I the result of multiplying I by 3. I is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So I is going to be set to 27. 27. And then we evaluate the loop condition again. Is 27 less than 27? No, good. It's false. That means the loop is done. When the loop condition becomes false, the loop is done. The whole loop statement, the complex high-level statement, is finished. So we outputted 4 and 10. What did I say there? I said 4, 10, didn't I? Well, maybe that was confusing. Four, 10. It actually does print 4 with 10 with no space, because if we run this, there'll be no space there. So we might want to put a space in. But I wanted to simplify the problem so it was easier to analyze. So I left that out.
A question.
Yeah.
Would it also leave a space if you put an end line there? Would it put a space left?
No, then if you put an end line, we don't need a space. It'll just go to the next line. Yeah, this is good enough. All right. Did I get this right? 132. That's number 3, right? Yeah, this must be 132. That's what this is what this prints. 132. I think we did this last time. All right, so I'm gonna move on to what's it called? Arrays. And after we do arrays, we're going to learn some new syntax, a little bit, not much, a little bit of new syntax. And then searching and sorting, we don't learn any new syntax there. We just learn more about how to use arrays and loops and functions. Then when we get to classes, we're going to learn a lot more syntax. This is a little hard in terms of learning more about the language. And that's it. This is the last sort of new thing. Oh no, vectors. And we're going to look at vectors. But vectors is essentially a repeat of arrays. So there's a couple more, language concepts that you need to grasp in the course, but not a lot more. Although I have to say classes are difficult to grasp conceptually. But other than that, we're going to focus on analyzing code and doing problems and coming up with solutions to word problems. So I want to launch into arrays right now.